Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. Today on the Daily Coffee Pro is episode 3 out of 5 on your coffee brand. And today we're specifically going to be talking about your coffee brand marketing strategy. So far in this series, we have been using the analogy of a garden, and we spoke about the actual brand, which is the actual concept, which is the seed. And then we talked about the brand being an expression of that seed. And now we're going to talk about the marketing strategy. And the marketing strategy is everything that goes into nourishing the soil and the sunlight and all the food that you're going to feed your seedlings, your seed and your seedlings. Before we get into any level of detail, I want to mention that on the 9th of March, we're running our first full day leadership workshop where I am leading the whole day at Coffee Fest in New York, and I'd love for you to come. You can get tickets at coffeefest.com/leadership. You can find a detailed explanation there or on our website, mapitforward.org/events. It's going to be fantastic. We're running this workshop 4 times this year in New York, Chicago, Anaheim, and in Tacoma, Washington. We'll be announcing our Satellite Expo events, hopefully next week, which are going to include one workshop around leadership, but we have a very, very exciting program for you then. If you haven't gotten onto our email list, that's where you can find out the information the quickest. So regarding the 9th of March, head to coffeefest.com/leadership. And if you are going to Coffee Fest, you can use our special 50% discount code the code is MapItForward, and you can get the discount if you go to coffeefest.com and use that code, or when you turn up to Coffee Fest, you can get your 50% discount when you buy tickets at the event. All right, so back to our discussion for today on your coffee brand marketing strategy. So when we start this discussion, we want to define what marketing is. So if your concept is the seed, understanding exactly what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. And if your brand is the expression of what your concept is, your marketing is the efforts that you are going to go to find your market. So you have gone through the process through defining the concept and the brand so that you can understand who it is that you are going to be trying to sell your product to. And when you can do this, what ends up happening is knowing how to access the people you're trying to sell your product to helps you execute on that. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how different concepts that get expressed as brands can be marketed to different groups and what happens when it goes right and when it goes wrong. It's important to understand this process so that you can more effectively do what you need to do to increase revenue as quickly as possible. So let's define our first brand. Let's say we are a brand that the concept or the idea behind what we're doing is that we want to roast coffee from Ethiopia and only Ethiopia to a target market that lives in Beverly Hills. Our brand is going to be bougie. That's going to be the word we're going to use to describe our brand. And it's going to look very elite. And we know that our market is, or the people that we want to sell to are going to be millennials. Millennials who have lots of money that live in Beverly Hills, California, and like Ethiopian coffee. Now, all of that information tells you a lot of stuff, particularly what you don't want to do. So, you don't want to target people who live outside of Beverly Hills just yet. You have defined one of your niches is this particular market. So going and looking for people outside of that before you've tested and tried to market your product to these people is ineffective and off strategy. Your strategy is this particular niche that you've defined. So the strategy there is that you want to find these people, not people outside of Beverly Hills, not Gen Xers, not boomers, not Gen Zs. You also don't want to target the people who don't have money in Beverly Hills. And those would be people who just visit Beverly Hills and work there, may not have the kind of money that you're looking for in your product. It's important to understand this because having this strategy, having this focus gives you the scope to go in there and test. And here's a really important term, understand what the conversion rate is for your marketing efforts. Now, your conversion rate is the number of attempts there were to contact a customer and the number of times you converted going through what we call a sales funnel. You converted people at each of those steps to become a customer. So if I put out a Facebook ad to people in Beverly Hills who are millennials, who like Ethiopian coffee, and I have 100 people that see that Facebook ad, and let's say my first conversion metric is that I want to understand how many people click on that. I've converted people who are clicking on that. So let's say 10 people click on that ad when they see it. It means that from the people I have targeted that are within my marketing strategy, I have a 10% conversion rate for people who click on the ad. I then want to know how many people from those 10 people go on to purchase once they've clicked on the ad. If one person goes on from those 10 people to purchase my coffee, I know that I have a further 10% conversion rate from people who click on my Facebook ad, but I have only a 1% of people who initially saw the ad. Now remember, it depends on how, if you've done this kind of advertising before, it depends how you've set it up. So let me say that again. It depends how you've set up the way that Facebook is charging you. So are you getting charged per expressions, or are you getting charged on clicks? So the number of people, so every time somebody clicks, you might get charged, or every time somebody sees your ad, Facebook shows your potential customer that ad, you may get charged. And all of that is different. You have to bid different rates for that. But getting your product, getting your brand out in front of people is the job of marketing. If you don't go to the effort to market your brand, then nobody's going to see, or very few people are going to see, what you've gone to the effort of creating. And this is what ends up happening with so many people in the coffee industry. What we end up with is people who have gone to the effort of roasting really beautiful coffee or going to the effort of opening up a cafe, and they've got a logo, and then they say to me, I don't understand why my customers aren't showing up. I don't understand why nobody's buying my coffee. Well, I ask them, what was your concept? What's your brand? And how are you marketing your business? And that's when people start to understand that there is so much more to having a successful business than the coffee side of it. And, in previous series, I've talked about, and in blog posts, I've talked about there are things that you can prepare for before opening a business, and there are some things that you cannot prepare for. But the things that you can prepare for, get them prepared for before you actually take the leap. And this is one of those things that you can prepare for. Nobody can prepare you for how hard it's going to be. Nobody can prepare you for the emotional intelligence that you're going to need to do this. Nobody can prepare you for how isolating being a business owner can feel. Nobody can prepare you for the intense challenge that you're going to feel when things don't go right. Nobody can prepare you for those kinds of things. But people can prepare you. You can prepare you for understanding this stuff. And by far, this is the one thing that the majority of my clients don't get ready for. And it is the singular thing that if you do prepare for this, it will go a long way to securing a lot more success for you. And in the next couple of episodes of this series, we're going to go into how we tie all of this together so that we can absolutely increase your revenue. Understanding what your marketing strategy is going to go a long way to shifting you from not knowing how to sell to having more success in seeing where your very deliberate strategies are landing and how to increase that conversion rate. And we'll talk more about conversion rates in the next episode of this series. I really hope this has been helpful. By far, this is that conversation that I have with my clients that blows their mind when they start to get and understand what they haven't been doing and how easily they can change their strategy so that they can start being more deliberate and effective in their sales strategies and marketing strategies. I hope this has been helpful, friends. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day.